Today on EarthRareCoins, we are exposing the truth behind these two legendary coins. The 1975 Spanish Peseta and the 1977 French Franc. One of these hides a secret that collectors are desperate to find. Is it worth $1 million or $5 million? I'm revealing the exact hidden marks you need to check right now. Don't sell until you see this. Subscribe to EarthRareCoins. The 1975 Spanish 5 pesetas coin is a profound historical artifact that marks a pivotal turning point in Spain's modern history. Issued following the death of the long-standing dictator Francisco Franco on November 20, 1975, this coin symbolizes the transition from nearly 4 decades of authoritarian rule to the restoration of the monarchy under King Juan Carlos I. The depiction of the king's portrait on the obverse was a deliberate move to solidify his legitimacy and signal the birth of a new era. During this time, Spain was navigating a delicate and often turbulent period known as La Transition, moving away from censorship and isolation toward democracy and European integration. Consequently, this coin is not just currency. It is a commemorative emblem of a nation reclaiming its democratic identity and witnessing the dawn of the constitutional monarchy. Following the passing of Francisco Franco in November 1975, the newly established provisional government swiftly moved to assert the authority of the restored monarchy by issuing a royal decree. This official mandate ordered the immediate design and minting of new currency featuring the portrait of King Juan Carlos I. The decree was a strategic political move intended to visually and economically replace the symbols of the previous regime with the image of the new sovereign. By circulating these coins across the country, the government sought to stabilize the national identity and demonstrate a clear, formal break from the past, signaling to the public and the world that Spain had officially entered a new chapter of royal leadership and political reform. The design of the 1975 Spanish 5 pesetas coin was a meticulously crafted artistic endeavor, overseen by renowned engravers and designers at the Royal Mint of Spain. The primary objective was to create a portrait of King Juan Carlos I that radiated dignity, stability, and a modern outlook for the monarchy. Every detail of the king's profile was refined to reflect his prestige as the new sovereign while ensuring the coin met the highest standards of numismatic art. By combining traditional royal imagery with a clean, contemporary finish, the designer successfully produced a coin that served not only as a medium of exchange but also as a powerful visual representation of the king's authority and the sophisticated future of the Spanish state. The obverse, front side. Analysis. Total words and characters. There are 5 words, 1 Roman numeral, and 1 year, total 7 elements. Word by word meaning. 1. John, the king's first name. Carlos, Charles, the king's second name. I, first, indicating he is the first king with this name. I, king, his official title. E, of, connecting the title to the country. Espa, Spain, the name of the nation. 1975, the year of his accession to the throne. The design and designer. The portrait of King Juan Carlos I was designed by Juan de Avalos, a very famous Spanish sculptor. It was commissioned by the Spanish government under a royal decree immediately after the transition to monarchy. The purpose was to replace the image of the former dictator Francisco Franco, with a new king to symbolize a fresh, democratic start for Spain. The reverse, backside. Analysis. Total words and figures. There are 1 word, abbreviated, and 1 number. Word by word meaning. 5. The denomination value of the coin. TAS. An abbreviation for pesetas, which was the currency of Spain before the euro. The imagery. Coat of arms. The center features the Spanish royal coat of arms. It includes a crown on top and a shield in the middle. The shield is divided into sections representing the historic kingdoms of Spain, Castile, Leon, Aragon, and Navarre. Why was it created? This design was used to reinforce national unity. It was engraved by the staff of the Royal Mint of Spain, Fábrica Nacional de Moneda y Timbre. Physical specifications. Biodata. Weight. Exactly 5.75 grams. Diameter, 23 millimeters. Thickness, 1.8 millimeters. Material, Copper nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. This gives it the silver-like color without using actual silver. The edge, the lines. The lines. Reading this coin has a reeded edge. There are approximately 120 small vertical lines, ridges, along the side. Why are they there? Anti-counterfeiting. In the past, people would shave off the edges of coins to steal precious metal. These lines make it impossible to shave the coin without it being obvious. Tactile recognition. These lines help visually impaired, blind people identify the coin's value just by touching the edge. Better grip. It prevents the coin from slipping out of your fingers when handling it. The 1975 Spanish 5 pesetas coin was struck at the prestigious Real Casa de la Moneda, the Royal Mint of Spain, located in Madrid. As one of the oldest and most respected minting institutions in the world, the Royal Mint was tasked with the critical mission of producing the first legal tender of the post-Franco era. The production process involved high-precision machinery and rigorous quality control to ensure that every coin perfectly captured the intricate details of the king's portrait and the national coat of arms. By minting these coins in the heart of the capital, the Spanish government emphasized the centralized authority of the new monarchy and the stability of the national currency. This institution's involvement guaranteed that the coin was not only a medium of exchange but also a high-quality piece of numismatic art, representing the official transition of power within the Spanish state. During the initial phase of the Spanish transition, the 1975 5 pesetas coin played a crucial role in stabilizing the national identity. While older coins featuring the image of the former dictator Francisco Franco were still in active circulation, the introduction of this new currency was a strategic necessity. Its primary purpose was to restore public confidence in the nation's new political system and to signal a definitive shift towards a constitutional monarchy. By circulating the image of King Juan Carlos I alongside the old regime's currency, the government facilitated a gradual but firm psychological transition for the Spanish people. This move effectively communicated that while the economy remained continuous, the leadership had fundamentally changed, thereby anchoring the new political order within the daily lives and transactions of every citizen. The death of Francisco Franco on November 20, 1975, marked the definitive conclusion of a 36-year-long dictatorship that had profoundly shaped Spain since the end of the Civil War. Franco's passing dismantled the monolithic political structure he had maintained since 1939, opening a long-awaited door for national transformation. This moment was the catalyst for the Spanish transition, a delicate process that moved the country away from decades of censorship and international isolation. The end of this authoritarian era allowed for the restoration of the monarchy and the eventual establishment of a democratic constitution, fundamentally altering Spain's social and political landscape and paving the way for its reintegration into the modern global community. Following the end of the dictatorship, Spain embarked on a remarkable journey known as La Transition, the Spanish transition. This was a critical period where the nation moved from a rigid, authoritarian regime toward a modern, pluralistic democracy. This transition was unique because it was achieved through negotiation and consensus rather than conflict, led by King Juan Carlos I and key political reformers. During this time, political parties were legalized, personal freedoms were restored, and the groundwork was laid for the 1978 Constitution. This period is celebrated globally as a masterclass in political transformation, turning a deeply divided society into a stable democratic state and allowing Spain to finally join the European community as a free nation. The introduction of the 1975 5 pesetas coin was a strategic masterstroke designed to stabilize Spain's national identity during a time of immense political flux. While the market was still heavily saturated with older currency featuring the image of the late dictator Francisco Franco, the government needed a tangible way to signal a new beginning. By circulating this new coin, they aimed to restore public and economic confidence in the emerging political order. It served as a daily, handheld reminder to every citizen that the era of dictatorship had passed and a new constitutional monarchy had begun. This transition of imagery on the currency was essential for anchoring the legitimacy of the new leadership within the very fabric of the nation's economy, ensuring that the shift toward democracy was felt in every transaction. The reality of value. It is important to clarify that the 1975 Spanish 5 pesetas was minted in hundreds of millions, over 1 billion total across various years. Because it is so common, its value is generally very low. There is no record of this coin ever selling for $40 million, $10 million, or even $5 million. Such prices are usually associated with legendary coins like the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar. Here is the realistic value breakdown based on condition. Circulated condition used. If the coin has scratches, dirt, or signs of use, it is worth its weight in metal or as a basic souvenir. The value is approximately 10 cents to $1. Uncirculated. UNC. Condition. If the coin is brand new, shiny, and has never been used, it might sell for $2 to $5. Proof or rare star years. On the back, inside the tiny stars, there are numbers, like 76, 77, 78, 79, or 80. If you have a proof version, specially made for collectors with a mirror-like finish, it might be worth $10 to $25. Rare errors. The World Cup '82 error. There is a famous Mule error, where a 1975 coin was accidentally minted with the back of a 1982 World Cup coin, showing a football. If you have this specific error in perfect condition, it can be worth $50 to $150. In very rare certified cases, it might reach a few $100s but never millions. The iconic imagery on this coin, known as the Sower or la Semouse in French, was originally conceived and created by the celebrated French medalist and artist Oscar Roty in 1897. Roty's vision features a determined woman wearing a Phrygian cap, a symbol of liberty, walking across a field and sowing seeds against the backdrop of a rising sun. This design was not merely decorative. It was a powerful allegory for France as a nation that was constantly planting seeds of democracy, progress, and enlightenment for the future. Although the design is over a century old, it was so deeply cherished by the French people that it was brought back for the new Franc era in 1960. It remains one of the most enduring and beautiful symbols in the world of numismatics, representing the hard-working spirit and the cultural fertility of the French Republic. The conceptual background of this coin stems from the French government's desire for a symbol that embodied the nation's agricultural strength, the dignity of labor, and the core values of democracy. In response, artist Oscar Roty envisioned a graceful woman sowing seeds into the wind at sunrise, representing a nation looking toward a bright and prosperous future. This image was so iconic that when France redenominated its currency in 1960 to introduce the new franc, the government bypassed modern alternatives and chose to bring back this beloved historical design. By reselecting the Sower, they aimed to provide the public with a sense of continuity and national pride during a time of economic reform, solidifying the design's status as the definitive face of the French Republic. The final authorization for the issuance of this coin rested with the French Ministry of Finance, the government body responsible for the nation's economic policy and monetary stability. Beyond merely approving the design, the ministry's decision to continue minting this Sower series was a strategic move to maintain public trust in the national currency during various economic shifts in the 1970s. By exercising its sovereign right to issue legal tender, the ministry ensured that the coin met strict economic requirements while also serving as a tool for national branding. This official backing transformed the coin from a simple piece of metal into a sanctioned symbol of the state's financial authority and its commitment to preserving French heritage in every citizen's pocket. The 1977 1 franc coin was struck at the Monnaie de Paris, the Paris Mint, which stands as one of the world's oldest continuously operating institutions, founded in 864 AD. To guarantee its origin and authenticity, the mint engraved a tiny, distinct mark on the coin known as the Cornucopia, the Horn of Plenty, which is the official symbol of the Paris Mint. This hallmark represents not only the physical site of production but also a 1,000-year-old legacy of craftsmanship and monetary integrity. By minting this coin, the Monnaie de Paris transformed raw nickel into a piece of national history, ensuring that every 1 franc in circulation met the rigorous aesthetic and technical standards required by the French Republic. While the original artistic vision of the Sower was created by Oscar Roty, The technical realization of the 1970s coins required the specialized expertise of the mint's chief engravers. During the 1970s, as minting technology advanced, these master engravers had to meticulously adapt Roty's classical 19th-century design to suit high-speed modern machinery and durable nickel planchets. This process involved refining the relief and depth of the image to ensure that every detail, from the woman's flowing robes to the individual rays of the rising sun, remained sharp and consistent across millions of strikes. Their work acted as a bridge between historical art and modern industrial precision, ensuring that the coin retained its aesthetic beauty while meeting the functional demands of a 20th-century economy. The obverse, front side. Analysis. Total words and characters. There are 2 words in the main inscription. Word-by-word meaning. Republic, republic. Indicates that France is a state where power is held by the people and their elected representatives. Français. French. Specifying the nationality of the republic. The imagery, the Sower/la Semeuse. What is it? A woman wearing a Phrygian cap, symbol of liberty, sowing seeds in a field. Why was it made? It represents the republic, sowing the seeds of energy, culture, and democracy for future generations. Who designed it? It was created by the famous French artist Louis-Oscar Roty in 1897. Who commissioned it? The French Ministry of Finance requested a design that showed France's agricultural roots and its bright future. The reverse, backside. Analysis. Total words and figures. There are 4 words and 1 year. Word-by-word meaning. 1. The denomination, face value. Franc, the name of the currency. Liberté, liberty. Freedom. Galette, equality. Being equal in status and rights. Fraternité, fraternity. Brotherhood and unity. 1977. The year of production. The imagery, olive branch. What is it? A branch of an olive tree with leaves and olives. Why was it made? The olive branch is the universal symbol of peace. It represents the peaceful nature of the French Republic. Who designed it? This side was also part of the cohesive design by Oscar Roty, later adapted by the Paris Mint's engravers for the 1960 to 2001 series. Physical specifications. Biodata. Weight. Exactly 6.00 grams. Diameter, 24 millimeters. Thickness. 1.79 millimeters. Composition, 100% nickel. This gives it the bright silver look and makes it magnetic. The edge. Type. Smooth/plain edge. Note. Unlike the Spanish coin you asked about earlier, this French 1 franc has a completely smooth edge with 0 lines. Why? By 1960, nickel was not a precious metal like gold or silver, so the risk of people shaving the edges was low. A smooth edge was cheaper to produce while still being easy for the public to recognize by touch. The political landscape of France during the time this coin was in circulation is best described as an era of bold modernization. Under the presidency of Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, who took office in 1974, the country underwent a significant liberal transformation. Giscard d'Estaing aimed to create an advanced liberal society, breaking away from the more conservative traditions of his predecessors. One of his most historic reforms was lowering the legal voting age from 21 to 18, which empowered millions of young citizens to participate in the democratic process. Additionally, his administration introduced groundbreaking reforms for women's rights, including the legalization of abortion and the expansion of divorce laws. These social shifts reflected the spirit of the sower on the coin, a nation actively planting the seeds of a more inclusive, youthful, and modern republic. Economic crisis. The 1970s was a decade defined by global instability due to the 1973 and 1979 oil crises, which sent shockwaves through the French economy. As oil prices skyrocketed, France faced a period of stagflation, a grueling combination of stagnant economic growth, rising unemployment, and high inflation. In this era of financial uncertainty, the 1 franc coin acted as a vital anchor for the public. While the value of the currency was being tested by global market forces, the physical presence of this durable nickel coin in daily transactions provided a sense of continuity and psychological stability. It represented the government's effort to manage the national budget and maintain a functional economy during one of the most challenging financial periods in modern French history. Technology and culture. Despite the economic hardships, 1977 was a landmark year for French innovation and cultural prestige. This year marked the grand opening of the Centre Pompidou in Paris, a revolutionary high-tech architectural marvel that challenged traditional museum designs and became a global symbol of modern art. Simultaneously, France was racing toward the future of transportation. 1977 was the year the TGV, Train à Grande Vitesse, high-speed train project entered a crucial phase of testing and development. These achievements signaled to the world that France was not just preserving its past, but was aggressively investing in technology and the arts. The 1 franc coin circulating during this time was the currency that fueled this cultural and technological renaissance. The end of the guillotine. The year 1977 holds a profound and somber place in legal history as it was the final year the guillotine, the infamous instrument of execution since the French Revolution, was ever used in France. Following the execution of Hamida Jandoubi in September 1977, the state effectively ceased the use of the device, leading to the official abolition of the death penalty a few years later in 1981. This transition marked a massive moral shift in French society, moving away from a dark heritage toward a more humanitarian judicial system. This coin, minted in 1977, is a silent witness to that historic turning point, representing the very last days of an old, harsh era and the birth of a more enlightened and compassionate republic. The reality of value. The 1977 French 1 franc is one of the most common coins in history. Over 465 million of these coins were minted in that year alone. Because there are still hundreds of millions of them available, they do not sell for millions of dollars. Here is the realistic value breakdown based on the coin's condition. Circulated condition, used/common. If the coin has been used in daily life and has scratches or dullness, its value is roughly 25 cents to $1, 70 to 280 pkr. Uncirculated, UNC. Condition. If the coin is in mint state, looks brand new, never used and very shiny, it can sell for $3 to $10 to a collector. Proof condition. The proof versions, specially made for collectors with a mirror-like finish, are rare and can be worth $20 to $50. Rare error coins. In very rare cases, if a coin has a major mint error, like being struck on the wrong metal or having a double strike, it might reach $100 to $500 at a professional auction.